Hello everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to a collaborative celebration of Craftwood Julie's 2000 subs. So several of us are celebrating Julie and scraplifting her. So I picked this video and I'll put a link in the description below. It's from her Christmas in July series of videos. So I'm going to scraplift that one. And the papers I'm going to use, these are from Iconic Celebrations, and then also some papers from Sweet Days of Autumn. So the photos I'm going to scrapbook are from a girls' weekend up in Estes Park. And a bunch of us went up there and we hiked in Rocky Mountain National Park, which is adjacent to Estes. So I have a million pictures. We shared all our pictures. So this will be several pages in a series. So this was the first day we did a hike up to Lake Hayaha, and these are the first part of the hike and some photos along the way of our group. Okay, let's get started. I am going to use a base of Sundance, and it's the light side of Sundance. And then I'll go ahead and start cutting up some of my pattern papers into strips. So the first one is Iconic Celebrations, and it's a 6x6. So you could easily use 6x6 papers like Julie did for this layout. And she gives instructions in her video. So I'm just cutting 2-inch strips, and then later on I'll trim them down to 10.5 inches. So I'm just picking some of these other patterns that are from Sweet Days of Autumn in all these similar colors. Remind you of me of the leaves changing in late September. And then we've got some trees, and I'll wind up using 2 of these patterns twice because I need 8 strips all the way across. So we'll just go ahead and keep trimming at 2 inches across, and then we'll trim them down to 10.5 inch lengths. So this is how you do the 6x6. You just take one of them and trim 1.5 inches off, and then the photo strip will cover up that seam between the 2 shorter pieces. Now I need 2 photo mats cut at 4.25 by 9.5, and I'm using New England Ivy, but if you have some Mossy Meadow, that works too. New England Ivy was the closest to Mossy Meadow that I could find. And when you're setting this up, put the shorter strip of the 6x6 pieces towards the top, because our row of photos is going to sit more towards the top. So you want that seam to be covered up. So I'm just laying everything out here, and we'll get a feel for what the layout's going to look like. Okay, and then this strip of photos is going to sit about 3 inches down from the top. And then I'll set my photos out on the mat, and I'll probably use flip flaps to accommodate those extra pictures. Okay, so now I want to do some treatment to the base. So that's why I haven't glued down that smaller strip. And they're going to kind of rest, the images will rest under the strips. And I have stamps from Textured Timber. So I have this wood round here. And I'm inking it up in Early Espresso, and we'll get that stamped out right on that corner there. So it'll be partially covered with the strip of patterned paper. And then I have another stamp for the other side. Get that first one cleaned up a bit. Okay, so this is a longer wood grain image. So I'm just kind of envisioning where I want that stamp to go and how much will be covered by that strip of paper. So we'll get that good and inked up, also with Early Espresso, and then we'll stamp it down. So we'll go ahead and put it there, and then part of it will be covered. I think that looks good. Okay, let's get everything out of the way so I don't hit it with my hand or another part of my layout. Okay, and then that last strip goes down there. Okay. All right. And then our photos are going to sit just about there. I like that. Okay. Then I decided that I wanted kind of a border around my whole layout. So I'm going to ink up the borders also with Early Espresso with this sponge tool. And we'll just go ahead and add ink all the way around. And then we'll skip ahead in just a second. Okay. Gives it a little more definition. All right, this stamp set is called In the Grove, and it has this nice mountain scene. So I'm going to use that. And then this stamp set is National Park patches, and it has a Rocky Mountain National Park image. And then the last set is from Take a Hike, and I want to use that shoe image. So we'll go ahead and stamp out this mountain scene. I have a piece of toffee cardstock, and all of these have coordinating dies. So we'll ink this up really well with Mossy Meadow, and we'll get that stamped out. And off camera, I'll do all the die cutting. Okay, this one, I want to stamp that boot image. So I have a piece of Old Olive, and we'll stamp that in Early Espresso. And I'll stamp that one twice, just because I want it to be a nice, deep, dark, crisp image. And it's also got a coordinating die, so I'll be cutting that out. So we'll get that inked up. And stamp that one twice. And then we'll stamp the National Park badge, also in Early Espresso on Old Olive. And then I'm going to bring in Spotlight on Nature. So I'm going to cut a circle in toffee, and that's where my title is going to go. So I've cut my title using the mini alphabet dies, and I cut a couple layers so they're kind of like chipboard. And then these other leaves, they're from Changing Leaves, and they're leftovers from another project. You probably saw that video a couple weeks ago. So I had some leftovers, so I'm going to work those into this layout as well because they're the similar colors. Okay. All right, so we'll lay things out. And like I said, the strips of photos are 3 inches from the top. And I'll just start laying my title circle down. And we'll put those mountains up there with the National Park badge. I like that. And I'm using Julie's layout as a guide. Okay, that is where my title is going to go. So we'll start putting these letters down. And I quickly realized that I wasn't going to have enough room. So I cut a second circle. So one circle will have girls trip, and then the second will be Estes Park. And then I've got 3 circles total because of that wood round that's on the left page. So that works out. And these are also from the Changing Leaves die set. So I did a little strip journaling for both sides. One has everyone's names, and then the other is the name of the lake that we hiked to and the date. And I have inked around the edges of all of those nature's spotlight die cut pieces. Okay, so we'll go ahead and commit to putting this photo strip down. We'll get that placed down. Now it's all about the gluing. Okay, and some of the ephemera. So I'll bring in these leaves, and I'm going to tuck those in under that one journal strip. And I like that little cluster. And Then we'll tuck some more in on the right page. And I do have to fuss with this just a little bit to get everything worked in. And I want to use these other leaves, but I don't need as much. So you'll see what I do with those in a minute. So let's just start gluing things down. Okay, so we'll get this photo strip down. And so it'll carry all the way across. And I need to trim off this stem from this bundle of leaves so that I can tuck it underneath. And then we'll put that journal strip on top and kind of layer it in there. Okay, we'll start gluing and getting things put down so you can see how I build these clusters. It's a combination of tape runner and wet glue. So I want to use tape runner for that so that I can lift it back up to tuck in those other leaves. Sorry, it's off camera here, but just getting tiny dots of glue on the back of that leaf image, and then we'll just slide it under there. So this was a fun trip. It was at the end of September of last year. A bunch of us, we scrapbooked together and we got to talking, and we decided to take a girls trip up to Estes Park. And it was during the elk rut, and just a beautiful time of year to be in Estes Park and Rocky Mountain National Park. So yeah, we all went up there. There were 7 of us. Yeah, and a couple of us stayed back and shopped, and a bunch of us went hiking, and we kind of just broke off in various groups throughout the weekend and just did what we wanted to do. So, of course, I was amongst the hikers, and yeah, we went into the park every day, and I've got several pictures, and so I'll be doing a series of layouts. So this is the first day. Lots of fun. So I'm going to continue building this cluster over on the right page, and as you can see, I've switched the position of that circle that says Estes Park just so I could fit things, and I found that the journal strip was covering up part of that boot that said let's go. And I want to use another one of these yellow leaves, so I'm just chopping a leaf off of that image and we'll tuck it in. I'm going to bring in some dots. These are faux glass dots, and they're in all the same colors as the collection. So we've got some uncrushed curry and mossy meadow or old olive, and I'm just going to scatter a whole bunch of these around. So like I said, you can, I'll put a link in the description below, and you can check out Julie's video, and then I'm going to list all of the other ladies who have done collaborative videos to celebrate Julie, and I'll put that in the description as well. You'll find close-up shots on my Facebook page, and the URL is at the bottom of the page. I'll put a link in the description, and give a follow over there, and you can see closer still shots of this layout. I'll make a list of all the supplies that I used with links in the description below, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it, and then you'll be able to find all of my videos. And thanks for watching.